We're now going to learn how to create more than two branches. So the original if and then else statements that we just learned about are great when you have exactly two branches. But you might have more than two branches, and the way to create any number of branches is with this elif statement. So this stands for else if, and you will check another condition, and if that particular condition is true, then that branch will get executed. So you can have any number of elif statements in your if-else block. They must become between the if and the else. They cannot start, your statement cannot start with elif. It has to follow if. So this is just a way that Python uses to create any number of branches. And the way we're going to see this is by implementing these set of rules over here of activities that are based on the weather. So if it is sunny, we will play soccer. If it is raining, we're going to play Scrabble. If it's cold, we're going to go ice skating. And if it is snowing, we're going to go skiing. So we're going to actually program this. And the way we're going to do this is by creating a variable called weather. And we will just assign it to one of the weather options, which is sunny. And then we're going to begin to program this. And we have to begin with if. So that starts as normal. If the weather, and we're going to test equality. If it is sunny, and that's what it is right now, but we will change it in a little bit. Then we're going to create a new variable over here, and we will call it activity, and we will say it is soccer. Okay, so before we go any further, let's go ahead and make a print statement over here, and we'll say the weather is weather. We're going to use an F string to interpolate. That just means to substitute in the variable weather right here. The weather is whatever the weather is. We will play and then activity. So this statement is outside of the code block. So remember, this is indented. It follows the colon, which means you know there's a code block coming up in the next line. This cell will get run no matter what. So the weather is sunny. We will play soccer. Let's go ahead and run this. And we see that it correctly prints this out because it did get this code block got triggered because it is indeed sunny. Now, let's move on. Let's just say if we want to check if it's raining, then we want to go play Scrabble. So if we want to check another condition, which means we just don't want to do anything else. So if it's not sunny, then we could just use an else statement, but we want to check these other ones. So we're going to say elif. When you have elif, then you have to have another condition. So it's just like you have another if statement, except it's following the first if statement. So we're going to say if the weather is raining, then the activity will be set to Scrabble. Okay. Great, so let's go ahead and execute this cell again. Nothing will change because the weather has been set to sunny. We have to change it to raining. And now it says the weather is raining. We will play Scrabble. Okay, great. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So elif the weather is cold, then the activity will be ice skating. So play ice skating. That kind of doesn't make sense, but that's okay. So the weather is still raining and the sentence stays the same. Let's go ahead and change this to cold. So the weather is cold, we will play ice skating. All right, great. Now, the last one, let's check if it's snowing. If weather is snowing, then our activity will then be skiing. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. and change it to snowing. And we'll see that is now correctly executed this branch over here. So we have 4 branches right now. And for every branch we want to add, we're going to have an elif. Now we can still have an else statement. And we'll just say unknown weather. So it won't really make any sense in the sentence right here, but that's not really the point. Let's just say we want it to, you know what, maybe we can just say we don't know. Let's put a bunch of question marks like this. So let's just say another, say it is thundering. So if the weather is thundering, so what's going to happen is that Python will check each one of these: sunny, raining, is it cold, is it snowing? If it's none of these, then this last one will get triggered. So the weather is thundering, we will play, well, we don't know, okay? So there's no option over here. We haven't had a specific one for thundering. One thing to note, okay, now that you should see how this is set up, you don't have to have an else statement. You don't even have to have any elif statement. So when you start an if statement, you can just have if by itself, and that'll be just one branch. So either that branch will occur or nothing will happen. When we have elif, you can have only one of these branches will get executed. You can't have there'll be no case where 2 of them or 3 of them get executed. Exactly one of them will get executed. So the way Python works is that whichever one gets triggered, so let's put this back to raining. So Python will check this one. Is it sunny? No. Is it raining? Yes. It will set the activity like this, and then it'll jump out of the if block. So it won't check all these other ones. It'll just completely ignore them, and it'll jump down over here to the rest of the code. So that's important to know. Only one, exactly one, will get triggered if you have an else statement. If you don't even have an else, then at most one, so either 0 or 1 will get triggered. So if this was the code that is currently highlighted, then it's possible that only none of these branches will get triggered. Okay, so that should give you a good introduction into elif statements.